Hello, welcome back to my daily Tour de Vi coverage. We're now on day 7, so we're a week in. And let's pop over to the track leaders and see what's going on. Victor's still up in front. He's still ahead of Robin's pace. You can see he's passed one of the northbound riders, so you can start in the north as most people do for the Grand Depart. Few riders tend to start in the south. That's the first rider. That's Julie Christensen, Victor's overtaken there. And so it looks like Victor. I did wonder. I thought we might stay in Silverthorne. That's where Robin stayed last year, but he's managed to push on up the valley. So it's like you go past the Dillon Reservoir here, and then basically you're on a cycle path pretty much parallel to the highway up to Breckenridge. It looks like he's got to Breckenridge, so he'll be doing Boreas Pass in the morning. Be pretty cool going over there if he gets sunrise before heading over the South Park Basin. And I'd imagine he'll be, we'll look into this a bit later, but he'll be getting towards Salida, and I'm pretty sure he'll be aiming to get over Marshall Pass later today. But again, as I said, we'll dig into that on Rider GPS. A bit further back, we're getting some structure now in the kind of standings. Lawrence is still in second. We've got to go quite a way back to find Lawrence. So Lawrence is in second position. It looks like he's in the basin at the moment. He's in Brush Mountain Lodge. So he's crossed the basin. He'll be in Brush Mountain Lodge. Angus is still rolling. So 8 minutes ago, we are currently, what are we? We're, wait for the thing. About 1:15 in the morning. So I'd imagine Angus is probably going to push another hour or so. Maybe a little bit more just to get into Brush Mountain Lodge and have a proper sleep. So he is closing down on Lawrence in terms of like the distance. He's brought that gap down quite a bit, only 15 miles or so. However, I suspect Lawrence is having a massive sleep. I know he is. He sent a nice message we can hear later. So he's sleeping there. I think he said he wanted about 5 hours sleep at Brush Mountain Lodge. That's a big reset. And then he'll be pushing on through Colorado. So Lawrence is in second. I suspect Angus will get there at the same time, but unless he has a short sleep, Lawrence is going to maintain that gap. And they're both ahead of that record, or the official record pace of Justyna Slowacka from 2024. Behind them, looks like they're in Wamsutter. There's a little hotel there and the gas station. It's kind of halfway through the basin. And Miku Kenu and Xavier Chiriboga, and they're sort of riding the same pace. They've been kind of tracking each other the last couple of days. It looks like there might be they seem to be moving at the same time. So might be a little bit of a race on the hands later on. Megan, she's still absolutely flying in the women's race. She's on that Mike Cool record pace, that historical dot of Mike, and that's the 2016 time he did. So Megan's really, really flying. Again, we'll have a little message from her. It looks like she's bivvying out in the basin somewhere. Felix Laberge, he's again, that's another record ride. So basically at the moment we're looking at the men's record, the women's record, and the single speed record being broken this year. It just seems like conditions are incredibly good. I didn't even think it'd be possible after last year and the conditions Robin got, but it seems at the moment that is the case, and the wind's been pretty favourable most of the time. Everyone's on for a record, so really fast year to be out there. So Felix, he's still there, and then we've got a bit of a change. So you may notice that David Chan has dropped down the order. He was up there with Angus. Just after I recorded yesterday, I saw that he was heading to hospital. He had that knee injury. Again, we'll hear a bit more from David later on, but sounds like he's not scratched yet. It sounds like he's trying to decide what to do, basically. Sounds like he's got a bit of a knee injury, and I think he's on the fence as to whether to push on or whether to stop, which is unfortunate. So he's still back in Pinedale. So then we have Dries van de Sky, I think is how you might pronounce it. Someone help me in the comments. Sorry, my Dutch pronunciations or my Flemish pronunciations are not the best. And then Yossi Barak, he therefore moves up a spot as well. And then we've got a big gap back to the others. So we've got Brian Ilander, and there's David there in the. It looks like he's still in Pinedale. So yeah, so that's it. There's quite a big spread back then, and then the rest of the field is spread out across the divide. So with that, I shall just say thank you to the sponsors as always. So Redshift Sports, and there's a nice little demonstration of their pedal adapters. That's kind of handy. So these are their pedal adapters. As you can see, they just clip into the pedals. I mentioned them the other day, just really useful. Such a good little product. I didn't think they were that useful, but I've got a set in my car. They're really good if you're just kind of spinning around an event. When you're riding your flat shoes on your SBDs, or when I take my bike out and just, when I've been working on it just to test the gears and stuff like that. So yeah, really good products, the Mousetrap pedal adapters, and yeah, Redshift do great stuff. Really good stuff, especially if you're into this long distance bike riding. So yeah, I've got a discount code. I'll put that on screen as always. So a big shout out to Redshift. They've been very supportive to me over the years. And again, enduro bearings. I've talked about these quite a lot. All these different sort of types of bearing they have. XD15 is my favorite. These are their ceramic hybrid. They kind of bed in and get faster. It's ridiculous. They feel like, I think I don't think all ceramic bearings are made equally. Some feel really fast out the box. I think if they've done some dyno testing, I think the SRAM bearings are the quickest out the box, but then they kind of wear out quicker, whereas these kind of wear in and have a longer lifetime. And I mean, I've got bearings. I've had XD15 bottom brackets, which I've done 3 or 4 ultras on, not done any maintenance, and they're just perfect. So yeah, enduro bearings, check them out. Really good products, and the kind of stuff you need to be using if you're going to take on the Tour Divide. So let's have a little look at. There's quite a lot to talk about today. So I'll start with Rider GPS, just see what Victor's got coming up today. So he has obviously just passed through. He's into Colorado. He passed through Steamboat yesterday, and he made it to Breckenridge, which is just down here. And then he's got one of the first. We're getting into the big high passes now. This gives you a bit of an idea. The community photos here. That's the view you get. Boreas Pass. I really enjoyed riding that pass when I did it in 2019. And then you're heading sort of down the other side, and you can see here, there's the pass, and you go into this big basin, which is the South Park Basin. So it's quite wooded on the pass. There is a little bit of single track off Boreas Pass. Got to be careful not to miss that. I think people have before ridden straight down the fire road and, realise their mistake after. So you've got to look out for that turning at the top of Boreas Pass, and then you're going across the basin here, and it's kind of, the riders will be used to it now, having just ridden across the Great Basin. This is like a very mini version of that, and basically, yes, it's a bit of a drag, and then you're into Salida, which is kind of one of the bigger always en route. Let's just do the Google map because it's hard to see place names like this. Salida's here, look. Or Salida. I always get my pronunciations mixed up. There's a bit of a pass just before, but you can see mostly they're going to be on these fast dirt roads. This kind of characterizes Colorado. This one looks pretty smooth. Some of them do have quite a lot of corrugations. I wonder how Victor's feeling on that rigid bike now. He's flying along, obviously. He'll be fast on them, but I did it on a similar kind of setup in 2019, and I just remember by this point the descents were getting a bit more fatiguing. So we'll see how it goes with there, but it doesn't seem to be slowing him down. I don't know why I keep going on about his bike, to be honest, but yeah, it's probably because I'm getting older and I need full sus nowadays. And then he'll be going up and over Marshall Pass, again, another monster. Not too technical, not too hard. I think it's kind of like, it almost might be like rail grade. There's the top. So yeah, it's Colorado's a weird one. You feel like you're going over 3,000 meter passes, and it feels like it should be a tiny little single track over a sort of big precipice down the side, but actually you could just drive a car up there if you wanted to. So yeah, there is accommodation down here in Sargent's. I suspect he might sleep there. There's not too much afterwards, given his tactics of just staying in hard accommodation when he can, because there's not too much after there. But we'll see. I don't think he'll be able to push to Del Norte, but you do never know with Victor at the moment. The guy's flying. So that's kind of what he'll be looking at, and so flying along. I've got the 25% off premium as well. So all these community images and stuff are available on Rubber GPS Premium. So I'll put the link up, and thanks for those guys for the support. Right, I've got back in my Instagram. I had to reset all my the web cookies yesterday because Track Leaders blocks up the browser sometimes, and therefore I deleted all my passwords out just before I did yesterday's report, which was a bit of a schoolboy, to be honest. So we're back now. So this was Victor. I was going to show you this yesterday at Brush Mountain Lodge. It's kind of like the safe haven. And there we go, the loveliest person on the Tour Divide, Kirsten. So a lot of people will know Kirsten. And this is the basin, so not much there really, as you can see. But yeah, super fast, super dry. Nothing much kind of slowing Victor down there. I mean, it can change quick if it rains, but there's just no sign of any rain at all on the Divide this year. So yeah, there's Victor looking strong. And we've got a message as well.
Bon, petit update. Ça fait 1h30 que je suis parti. Ça roule super bien là. Ah, mais c'est le désert. Ah, je suis content. Hier, j'ai bien mangé. J'avais besoin de manger beaucoup plus consistant. Je sens que c'est ça qui me manquait hier. Prendre des choses qui m'amènent des vitamines issues de fruits, de verdure. Ouais, c'est ça qui me manquait un peu. Mais c'est bon, ça m'a fait du bien. Et là, je sens que ça a été une belle journée. Même si les watts, c'est plus trop ça, désolé coach. Et là les stats, ça fait peur. Mais c'est pas l'important là, c'est vraiment d'être consistant et de bien rouler toute la journée, c'est ça qui fera la diff. Et donc voilà, on va continuer sur ce chemin. Et on va voir où ça va nous mener. En tout cas, content de ma gestion et content de moi quand même parce que c'est quand même pas facile ce genre de course. Et là, la fatigue commence à s'installer chez tout le monde et c'est là où il faut être vraiment fort.
So that was Victor. So if you don't understand French or you're listening on the podcast, he basically, just paraphrasing, I think he's starting to feel it like everyone. I mean, a week in riding non-stop, the pace he's done, he's going to. He said he got a good resupply and he just wanted some good food. I imagine at Brush Mountain Lodge he got that. Got some sort of vegetables and some vitamins, which is hard to come by on the Tour Divide. I'm not going to lie, the American diet is not the best. But he's feeling better now, and I think he just acknowledges that he's tired, everyone's tired, but this is where it counts, and you've just got to keep rolling. And the power's down, your body's destroyed, but you've just got to keep those legs turning over. So yeah, Victor's still doing a good job, and still flying, still ahead of that time of Robin. It's pretty phenomenal. We talked about David Chan and that he's had to stop. He's paused temporarily. So I'll just play out what he said. He did a little reel on his Instagram. This is kind of the story from him.
Okay, for some reason it just ended. Don't know why. So here we are again. What I was saying is I just don't have a good feeling touching it, and so now I'm kind of because maybe I should wait until people come back in that were listening live. I mean, otherwise you can always watch it as a reel. But I was saying I don't have a great feeling about it. I don't know. So now I'm in between of maybe it's nothing, and I will beat myself up about it in 2 weeks when the swelling is gone and I get an MRI and they're like, no, you're good. Or on the other hand, there might be something and I'm gonna beat myself up for not listening to my body and causing damage to my knee that might cause some chronic issues down the line. And I mean, it's just tough, like in ultra cycling or whatever kind of ultra racing you do. I mean, you're always going to be walking the thin line of, is this something I should just push through? I mean, you're always going to have some kind of something that hurts, probably. Especially, I mean, I feel like the faster you go, the thinner that edge becomes of like, okay, is this something I'm just going to push through, or is this something I should probably listen to? And I've been like kind of trying to compare it to 2 years ago when I raced the Transcontinental and the crash as well, which is kind of similar but not similar. I also banged up my knees. It was swollen too. I went to the hospital, got it checked out, but then the swelling went away with like half a day. And it was swollen because I banged my knee on something, and the outside was and the outside was it was bruised on the outside and swollen on the outside, and now obviously something is going on inside my knee which you can't see and you can't tell what it is until it's not swollen anymore and you get an MRI. And I mean, it's really bitter sitting here thinking about everything you invested, like time, training, financial investment, time investment, and then making a decision to potentially stop while you were doing pretty well. And I mean, I really stepped it up this year to be able to do well, and I feel like I was able to show that I can ride in the front, and it was worth investing all that to do that. And now I'm pulling the plug, and yeah, I mean, at this point I've been here almost 24 hours trying to make a decision, and I mean, tomorrow morning I will have to make a decision. And if for some magical reason, like my swelling is gone, I might continue, but I don't know, my hopes aren't very high right now.
So yeah, so that was David. It goes on for a little longer. So if you check out David's Instagram here, you can find out the full story. But yeah, I really feel for him. I mean, I've scratched from well, quite a few races, but Tour Divide myself, and been in that scenario. You know, you kind of feel like you can't go on, but then your head's kind of going, well, maybe I should go on because of everything I've put into it and the effort. And, you know, 2022 I scratched not too far away, actually, the other side of Union Pass in Lava Mountain Lodge. Just had a horrendous chest infection and been ill from the very start, and you just think, well, you know, you certainly coming from Europe, I mean, not so bad from the US, but you've put all that investment into traveling, the time, the training, and then it's over. And it's tough. It really is tough. I do feel for really do feel for David, and whatever decision he makes, you know, I'm sure at the end of the day, it's just a bike race, and the divide will be there if he wants to come back again. And like many, you know, many people have scratched the Tour Divide, and many people have come back and made amends. So yeah, whatever happens, I'm pretty sure that it won't be the end. Further back, this is Torrin. She's in the women's race. I think she's second or third in the women's race at the moment. So yeah, just
okay. Dinner was bad. It was cold soaked ramen that did not soak long enough with tuna, and I had no fork, and my face is covered in pizza and chocolate. And we ate this pizza. We got this dill thing, Mississippi mud, of course. Stuck for the road. About to go get more.
So yeah, life on the road on the Tour Divide. I mean, standards do tend to drop quite quickly, and sometimes when you look back at you know, what you did and how you ate and the way you lived on the Divide or any ultra, you kind of, you don't know, it's not always glamorous. Next up, there was quite a few. I kind of saw this yesterday, but obviously didn't get to play it because my Instagram messed up. But JP Tavari, he's out on course, and he's put up a video. So quite a lot of people were asking about it. I'll play a bit of it. I won't play the whole lot. And then I'll just sort of give you my thoughts. So yeah, this is Jay, just talking about, you know, the way the race is ridden. So yeah, I'll play that now, and then I'll kind of give you my thoughts.
I just thought maybe I would share a couple of things that have come up over the last couple of days that deserve discussion. and just clarity on, I guess. If people don't know, they don't know. But one of the things that's been coming up the grapevine, and knowledge travels up and down the trail of what riders are doing, and then people post on social media what they're doing, so there's a lot of information out there. And nobody is going to disqualify or police riders while they're out there. They're basically doing that themselves, and the other riders are also doing it to each other, just keeping everyone accountable. But one of the things is people at home, partners or crews or what have you, friends, making reservations at hotels for the rider that's en route. That's not allowed. It's not cool. There's not cell service out there in all these places. So, yeah, a rider gets challenged with kind of setting up maybe a hotel if that's what they're aiming for. And they're receiving outside help if somebody does that for them.
So that was Jay. So basically his 3 points were, as you said there, and if you want to check out exactly everything he said, check out Jay's Instagram. It's been out on the route as well, so you can see some little clips from the road. The first thing was, there was 3 points. The first one was having people at home basically like booking accommodation and, emission control as such. His other 2 points were about sleeping in pit toilets and post offices. Just saying he didn't really agree with that. So we'll start with the first thing. I mean, having someone at home basically booking stuff and calling in and calling ahead. I mean, I agree with Jay. Really, it's not really self-supported, is it? It's not really on, but it happens, and I think it probably happens a bit more than people realise. It's hard to sort of prove these things, but you hear stories of 2 riders going into like a hotel at the same time on the same pace at the divide, and normally you have to get your passport out and kind of check in and all of this stuff. You hear stories of one rider going through that process, the other rider turning up, handing the passport, everything's booked, giving the keys, and then getting into their room and having a pizza waiting there that's been delivered already to the room. That's not really on. But unfortunately, it does happen, and it's very difficult to monitor. I mean, unless someone sees that happening, there's not much you can do. And it might be different in other races. Certainly, over in Europe, things are a bit more developed in terms of organisation, as in you have a race director and people on the ground. Things like the transcontinental race, they're a lot better at kind of, they have a structure in place. It's not that they're better, it's just they have a structure in place to monitor these things. And the same as like the mountain races, run by Nelson Trees. I think they're kind of in a better position to be able to monitor things like that and enforce rules and disqualify people. Whereas Tour Divide, it's still kind of, I guess, underground and amateur. And yeah, there's, a core group of people that make the thing happen, which, everyone should be really grateful for. But, there's probably more leeway to get away with stuff like that. And I'm pretty certain people will be doing it. Almost 100% certain people will be doing that and having mission control at home, sorting things out. And yeah, it's not really in the ethos, is it? Is it? So yeah, but it's, I guess, what can you do about it? The other things was sleeping in pit toilets and post offices. Well, Jay was just saying like he doesn't really agree with pit toilets and post offices, saying actually post offices are illegal. I didn't actually personally realise that sleeping in a post office was illegal. My take on it is, I mean, as long as I've been watching Tour Divide, quite a long time, since like the 2nd or 3rd edition, I've been following it, and obviously followed Mike Hall, being a British rider, and I was lucky enough to know Mike and chat to him about it. And he always used to say sometimes he had to sleep in a pit toilet, and you hear stories of that, and sleeping in certain post offices. And for me, it's always been a bit part of it. I mean, no one personally, I don't want to sleep in a pit toilet if I can help it. I don't think I ever have, actually. Certainly not on the Tour Divide anyway, but unless you're stuck and it's emergency, it's not the best place. And I don't think anyone would want to sleep next to a toilet. I mean, you wouldn't sleep next to your toilet at home, would you, if there's a better option? Sometimes if it's raining in the shelter, I guess it's better than nothing. But they do have concrete floors, you know. They're a bit warmer than being outside in a storm, maybe, but not an awful lot. It's not like they're necessarily insulated buildings, you know, with insulated floors. You're still sleeping on a concrete floor, which isn't great. So yeah, and I think you've just got to be sensible. I mean, you know, Jay pointed out that, you know, you're blocking it for other users. Yeah, you are. That is a point. However, like a lot of these things, if you're going to bed at like midnight, 1 a.m. and getting up, you know, before sunrise, you're probably not, you know, it's not always, the case, but you're most likely not holding it up. So I think you just have to be very sensible and reasonable when you do that. And post offices, again, it's not my bag. I just don't want to sleep in a really public place. It's just, I don't feel, I like to sort of feel hidden away when I sleep. And yeah, some people do. There's certain spots on the course where that is probably the only place to sleep. Again, I don't think it's the best. Yes, it'll be warm and dry, but the lights are normally on 24/7. You know, and someone could come in. But you know, like I say, it's the same. If you have to, you have to. If you're not going to be sleeping in it during the day. If you're leaving in dark, leaving before dawn. I think it's happened for quite a while. You know, not something to be glorified by any means, but it does happen. So yeah, that's my take on it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments below. So yeah, let me know. And yeah, I've actually this is Xavier. Moving on to catching up. This is Xavier. He's in, well, that kind of like 4th, 5th place. Let's hear what he's got to say.
A las 4 de la tarde.
It is in Spanish though.
Ve, primer trail mati que me encuentro. Puta.
So there we go. Look, trail angels out there. Probably another thing that you could talk about. Is it sport or is it not? So yeah, so Xavier looks like he's having a good time. And then I wanted to finish with, I've got some voice notes actually. Firstly, Megan. So let me find Megan's voice note. Yeah, she's doing a smashing job. So I've got quite long voice notes. So firstly, Megan, because I think she gives us a good insight into the way the divide's going this year, and then quite a long one from Lawrence Tendam. So yeah, so I shall finish by playing those out, I think. So yeah, this is Megan. It just gives us some insight into like how incredibly good the conditions are and how fast it is this year. So yeah, this is Megan.
Divide update, day 7. I stopped at Wild Bill's for some water and cold cokes, and I am leaving Atlantic City, entering the basin. I'm exactly 24 hours ahead of where I was in 2024, and that feels pretty damn good. We've had better weather. I feel like I haven't been out there fighting in the snow and the mud and just finishing each day exhausted like I did back then. Like, I'm tired, but it's more sustainable. And I also feel like I'm able to put in bigger days, which is really exciting to kind of see those numbers come up every day. This morning was Union Pass, and I ran into Felix, my fellow Canadian, on his single speed up at the top. It felt like an apparition. It was just so bizarre and random to find another cyclist on the top of a pass at 3,000 meters at sunrise. And yeah, it was wonderful to share that beautiful moment with him. Anyways, yeah, great day, having fun out there. Let's see how the basin goes. Plans to bivvy down someplace when I'm tired and starting to be inefficient, and then hopefully get to Brush Mountain tomorrow. So, whoop whoop.
So yeah, great to hear from Megan there. And yeah, as she said, like 24 hours up on her previous pace, and you know, it's just the conditions are so good. That was a 2024 pace, so it just goes to show, you know, the speed up front. You know, it seems to have been absolutely perfect this year. I know, as I keep saying, anything can happen on the divide, but at the moment it hasn't. So I think I'm going to finish up. Like, I've got quite a long message from Lawrence. He did send me an update. I think he's not really on his phone very much, so he sent me like 1 or 2 updates throughout the race. And yeah, the first one, he was just telling me he's still feeling pretty good and strong, and but yeah, it was pretty windy, so I won't submit you to horrendous wind noise. But then he sent a couple of like quiet, just talking about the pace of the race, and how how fast Victor's been. But yeah, some really nice, a really nice voice note actually. So it's a long one, it's 5 minutes, but yeah, I just thought it's good to hear about Lawrence and his motivations and what he thinks of it all. So we're going to round out with Lawrence ten Dam, and yeah, let's hear what he has to say.
Josh, hetzelfde me again, on the second basin. My take on things, of course, it was really fast, and I also did want to redo Lachlan back in 2024, but right now I'm in the space. I just want to have the real adventures, I do only 2 races a year. This one and the Italy Divide as a build-up, as a test. I'm not an ultra pro, so on my bucket list is still sleep in a postal office. The toilet I've done. On the dirt, just after Ferndale, I've done too. So now it's all about the adventure for me. My real career has been back in the days. Now of course I'm serious. Of course I'm suffering. Otherwise you're not second, but like how I'm a father of 45 years old, 2 kids, with a company who can free himself for 3 weeks to do the divide, And still, I learned from 2 years ago, so I did more fitness training to keep the body going. So I have a little home gym now, and I even slept for the last 3 weeks in the altitude tent without my wife. So when the race is approaching, the old racer still gets into me, like the other day years in Mount. But the adventure, that's the thing, what keeps me going to these races. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm enjoying myself. Because I have a tailwind, too savory. I got way too much food with me. I think 5 liters of water, an extra bottle in my tailfin front pack, because 2 years ago I had a headwind here, and I barely made it to safely in one piece before dragging myself into the worst mountain roads. So far so good, and looking forward to the Kirsten, at least 5 hours of sleep. But for me, these races are still about adventure and not really about winning. And to be honest, like I said before, man, I passed all those places. It was insane what Justinas did in 2024 with that weather. I think it's still one of the best performances on the route, the official route. There is maybe the best. He was written this year in flat range. Well, I knew how much snow and shit we had, But where was I going? Now, for me, this is about the adventure. And if I win, if I get second, or if I get third, it doesn't change my life at all. I'm not a ultra pro. I'm just a guy who loves to ride this bike, And I do it already for my whole life, so I will keep doing this. But I don't know if I keep doing this on this level, because it hurts, man. Okay, Josh. Bye-bye. Yeah. Last thing, where I was going to. Now I remember. Actually, I'm chasing Mike's record. I'd like to be close to him, you know? And I know he didn't do the single tracks in New Mexico, so I need an advantage. I'm not a record guy. I just like to race mano a mano. That's why I say Christina says 13 days is insane. But to me, Mike Hall is still a legend of the sport, you know? And no aeroscapes would be going to change all that.
So that was, Lawrence Dendam, really nice little message there. And yeah, it's just nice that Mike Hall is still held in such high regard and high esteem. And, you know, Lawrence, Megan, you know, they both said they're aiming for Mike's record. So, yeah, I guess long live Mike Hall. And on that note, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again tomorrow.